This video has some of the craziest seeds we have ever shown, like cherry blossom rings, insane mountain seeds, structures, survival islands, and literally everything in between. And we're gonna start here at number 50, which has one of the most perfect spawn locations ever. As you guys can see, there are a ton of cherry blossom trees at this seed that sit on top of these 75 block tall mountains. And of course, all of that surrounds this beautiful 200 block long lake with a village that is floating over top of it. Can you guys imagine building your house up here and having this be the background? Oh my gosh, that would almost be as cool as seed number 49, which is a huge lake with an ocean monument in the middle. Now, honestly, I didn't even know that monuments could spawn like this. I mean, this lake here is only about 250 blocks long, but I don't know, it does make a pretty cool centerpiece. And turning on night vision, you can see that this thing goes all the way down to the bottom of this lake, which, if you're wondering, is down to Y level -50. Then as you can see right behind that, there are some beautiful 120 block tall mountains, which just make this whole seed so much cooler. And speaking of which, seed number 49 has pretty much perfected the cool aspect. Check this thing out. Now, there's a mansion down there with a village that is tucked right beside it. It's all sitting underneath of this huge floating island with water flowing all the way down into this massive sinkhole that sits right below all of it. Now, some cool things about this one is that the village is floating. There's a blacksmith right there, a couple houses, and they're all floating over top of this sinkhole, so one wrong step and you're not gonna make it very far. But trust me, that monstrosity in front of you is just the beginning, because coming underneath the surface, you're gonna find a mine shaft, a stronghold, an ancient city, and a trial chambers. Seed number 47 is gonna spawn you right here, and it looks pretty normal until you come into the water cave below you and you find an igloo. Weird. Okay, let's head inside. All right, so coming down the ladder, everything here looks pretty normal until you break down and realize that this igloo is floating inside of a massive cave system. Now, that also means that these guys here are suspended over 60 blocks above the ground. Oh my gosh, what crime did you guys commit to get put here? Now, outside of that, looking around this cave, you're gonna have a ton of really cool areas to explore, structures, exposed diamonds, and so many more things that you need to check out. Seed number 46 is very simple. You spawn on this nice little taiga island with a spruce village sitting right in the middle. That's pretty much it. Not a whole lot to talk about there, just a really nice island. And once you get bored with that, you can come over here to the nearby ocean monument as well. Seed number 45 is possibly the most insane mountain seed we've ever shown, and I'm gonna take you around right now. Now, starting over here, these huge max height mountains are surrounding a large meadow biome, giving you plenty of space to build literally whatever you want. Now, this mountain range over here is absolutely insane, with all of these mountains peaking at the max height of 265, making for probably the most perfect background no matter where you build. Then looking in the other direction, you're gonna find even more mountains that are equally as cool. And there are just so many things at this seed, I can't possibly show it all to you in one video, so you're gonna have to come here for yourself to check it out. Seed number 44 is very cool, but also very simple. You've got a village, a nether ruined portal, and a jungle temple all in this one small area. Now, what I love about this area personally is that it's a desert village, but also a jungle temple that are basically on top of each other, because the two biomes are split perfectly down the middle. And look at this, some of the desert village even leaks over here into the jungle. This whole area is so cool. Seed number 43 has a really cool plain circle that is completely surrounded by some snowy and icy biomes, and this whole thing looks super cool. What's cool about this area is you pretty much have everything you're gonna need. You've got some water over there, you've got a bunch of plains to build with a cool circular cave that you can explore, And then of course, there's also the village over here on this side. Then of course, like I mentioned, surrounding you 360 degrees is a bunch of different types of snow biomes, and I just love the way that this whole seed looks. Now, if you want to live inside of the cold, the number 42 will be absolutely perfect. Now, coming down here into the middle, as you can see, there's some beautiful 75 block tall mountains that are littered with all of these spruce trees. And as you can see, there is a huge sinkhole here as well. Now, of course, the village and the sinkhole here make a really cool centerpiece, and then the mountains make a super cool background. And honestly, I just love the way that this whole seed looks. Seed number 41 has some beautiful spawn terrain, some huge mountains, and then inside a pale garden forest and a meadow, but I promise you that is just the beginning of this seed. Then coming all the way down here to the other side of this mountain ring, you're gonna find not only a pillager outpost, but also a village and a nether ruins portal. And personally, I think these guys have the best view of the area in front of them. Take a look at this. However, all of this stuff on the surface is still just the beginning of this seed. And that's because if you come all the way over to the other end here and then go into this air exposed cave, you're gonna find a huge cave system. And I mean huge. I mean, this thing does not stop. Take a look at this. And keep in mind, this whole area here is directly underneath that beautiful terrain above. Now, I want you to think of the best cave you've ever seen and double it. This thing has everything. Lush cave, ancient cities, trial chambers, mine shafts, exposed ores, and literally everything else. I mean, it's so big, I can't possibly show it all to you in this one video. Seed number 40 will spawn you in this huge Badlands biome, and my favorite part about it is this area right here, a bunch of max height mountains giving you an incredible background. What's cool about this area as well is there's a U shape of mountains in the background with some flat space down here for you to build. And if you actually come down here, it gives you a good idea for the scale of these mountains. Oh my gosh, it's insane. And that's not it. It keeps going too. There are even more huge mountains and areas to explore over here as well. We're going to keep number 39 short. It's a geode with a zombie spawner on the inside. This generation is so funny. Now, I guess that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot you can do with this. It's just really interesting generation. And if you actually come through this wall, you're going to find both of the chests with a lot of good loot inside as well. Look at that. A god apple. Seed number 38 is probably one of the most interesting Plains village locations I've ever seen, considering most of it isn't even in the Plains biome. Now, as you can see, we're stuck in the middle of an ice spikes biome, but you actually spawn in this tiny little plains biome down here with a village in it. Although most of the village is actually climbing up the side of this ice hill, and I just think this whole area looks so funny. We've got a very similar thing over here for number 37. This time though, there's no snow biomes nearby. Now, this village location is super interesting. Half of it is over here, and half of it is up the side of whatever this thing is, with one villager's house having literally the most perfect lookout of the landscape in front of him. This guy knows what he's doing. Oh my gosh. Now, as you can see, some of this village is also all the way down over here, which actually has two separate blacksmiths at it. And something I'm just thinking of right now, I think it'd be super cool if you made a bridge connecting from these villagers' houses all the way over across this canyon to the other side. Now, let me know down below if you're gonna try doing something cool like that. And as well, make sure to stick around because we still have 36 incredible seeds left to go on this list. Really quickly, if you're enjoying, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for weekly seed showcases. And now let's move on to number 36, which has a ton of really cool terrain generation. Now, I feel like I don't even have to say much about this seed because it speaks for itself. It has some tall cliffs on the side, some huge max height mountains in the background there, with stone on the top, trees on the bottom half, which leads down to a central pond. The seed kind of reminds me of like a vacation getaway. Anyone else getting those vibes from this? If you want it to be cold instead of hot, then seed number 35 will be much better for you. This circular snowy mountain range looks super cool. Now, I will say the mountains in the background are a little bit smaller, but they're still easily over 100 blocks tall. And as you can see, there's literal thousands of taiga trees in the middle here. Seed number 34 is a nice little mangrove getaway. Nothing too weird. What is that? Yeah, there's a desert village in the middle of this mangrove swamp, which is such a funny location. I mean, there's a desert nearby, but like the desert village isn't even touching the desert. It's fully inside of the mangrove swamp. This is so weird. Honestly, I just love the way this whole area looks, and especially considering you spawn inside of this village, so you don't have to travel at all to have a desert village and very interesting mangrove getaway. But I like the aesthetic, and I think you could definitely have a really cool home down here. Seed number 33 spawns you near what I like to call village land. That's because you have a village, a pillager outpost, and a mansion all in this one small area. What I also think is funny about this area is that some of these villagers' houses are actually all the way down at the bottom of this cave, which is a little unfortunate because if you come up here, you'll be able to see some beautiful mountains in the background that unfortunately that villager down there just isn't able to see. I feel like we haven't had enough mountains on this list, so load up seed number 32, and it doesn't take long before you have some insanely tall mountains in front of you. Now, both of these mountain ranges go all the way up to the max height of 255, and they create a really cool plains ravine cutting right between the middle of them. And the coolest part is that is just the very, very beginning of this seed. These mountains go on for thousands of blocks. Now, I'm just going to show you guys a couple different areas that you could build, explore, search, literally whatever you want. This seed has so many different mountain ranges, villages and structures, just things that you can explore. I just wasn't able to show you all in one video, so I hope the shots I'm showing you now give you an idea for it, because seed number 32, it's incredible. If you love mountain seeds, you're gonna want to check this one out. Seed number 31 spawns you in a cherry blossom forest with a pillager outpost nearby and some nice mountains in the background, but that's not even the cool part of this seed. Come up to the coordinates in my top left, all the way over to here, and you're gonna find an insane 8 structure spawn. Now, on the surface, there's a village, a nether ruined portal, a pillager outpost up there on the side, and then right outside of that circle, there's also an igloo right down here. Then underneath the surface, you can find a mine shaft, a huge stronghold, which intercepts into an ancient city, and then there's also a trial chambers nearby. So that's 8 structures mixed with some beautiful terrain. I'm not sure what more you could ask for. Seed number 30 has a very practical spawn. It's inside of this taiga village, a couple houses nearby, but this seed gets exciting once you look up towards this floating island. Can you guys guess what's going to be up there? I'm sure it's not too much of a secret. That's right, a couple of the villagers' houses are all the way up here on this floating island. And honestly, I think they have the best village location ever. I mean, down there, the view sucks, but from up here, you can literally see everywhere. This location is awesome. Seed number 29 is a super cool jungle oasis with a ton of jungle trees and a ton of really big mountains. Now, my favorite part about the mountains are how they create a full enclosure into this one small jungle area. However, one side is still left open so you can pretty easily get in and out. And as well, there's a smaller hill in the middle. And then, of course, like I mentioned, a ton of jungle trees and bamboo on the inside. If you love jungle biomes, I'm not sure you're going to find anything better than this one. Seed number 28 spawns you right on top of an igloo at Y level 223, all the way up at the top of this weird mountain thing or whatever you want to call this. Like, for real, you spawn on top of the igloo. All the way up here. I don't know how you got up here. I don't know how you're gonna get down or anything about this seed, but honestly, this spawn location was just too crazy not to show you guys. Now, if you do manage to get down, I don't think you'll be able to get back up because as you can see, this thing is way off the ground. Seed number 27 has this super cool floating village island with a fully intact beached shipwreck on top of it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like to think the villagers showed up on this boat and then built this land out of nowhere, because if you couldn't tell, the entire island is village. There's no other island. Part of it is in the middle, although some has extended over top of the water. So maybe they showed up on this boat and they're planning on leaving soon? Who really knows? Either way though, you could swim out here, loot all of the resources on that island, and then come over and try to fight the ocean monument right off the side. Another mountain seed for seed number 26. This one's pretty similar to the others, just unique in its own ways. Like for example, this little area here has a nice circular mountain range, with some of these areas going all the way up to max height. Honestly, it's kind of hard for me to describe what these seeds look like, so I'm just going to show you a bunch of different shots, different areas that you can explore. There's a really cool village back here that climbs up the side of this mountain, and overall, just a bunch of cool things at this seed that I'd recommend you guys check out. It's the exact same thing over here for seed number 25. Once again, I'm just going to show you a bunch of different shots of what you can expect from this seed. There's a bunch of building locations, some tall mountains, again, some villages, and honestly, just a bunch of things that you can check out and explore for yourself. Seed number 24 is the perfect little jungle getaway. As you can see here, you're completely surrounded by a ton of jungle trees, although in the middle, there is a nice little beach that you can build and explore. And then of course, a fully intact beached shipwreck right here in the middle. Now, the reason I love this seed so much is just because how secluded it is. I mean, there's nothing around here. You have full protection. However, you're not fully trapped in, because if you come further in this direction, you've got a couple lakes that you could take the boat over and keep exploring more of this jungle. Or of course, you can just stay here and keep this nice little desert area as your home. As well, if you want something a little more spacious than that, you can come all the way over to here, where there's a really long jungle island in the middle, but it's a sparse jungle, so you'll have space to build. And then as you can see in the background, there are a bunch of mountains giving you a very cool view. Seed number 23 spawns you right near this village that's half climbing up the side of this mountain, and then part of it is in this wooded badlands. But it gets cool when you come inside of this cave right here, where as you can see, two of the villagers' houses are over there. And then coming to this area over here, two of the villagers' houses are down here as well. Then looking past that village over to the terrain behind you, there's a ton of really cool mountains and areas you can explore, including another village that stretches from this forest and then climbs up the side of one of these mountains. Seed number 22 has a nice 200 block long lake with a floating village in the center, and all of that is surrounded by some 120 block tall mountains with birch trees on one half and then a bunch of meadow over here on the other side. However, this floating village is just the start, because if you look underneath the surface, as you can see, there's a sunken shipwreck that is about halfway down to the ground. So I don't know if this is the villagers' ship, but I don't know how they're getting back to the mainland because they clearly didn't make it very far. This is the view that you're going to get the second you load up seed number 21, which in my opinion is the perfect way to start your world. Now, you spawn tucked in the middle of this cherry blossom forest with a village straight in the middle of that, and then surrounding you are some nice snowy mountains, but only covering about 180 degrees. So this whole side here is open for you to go and explore the area behind you. Overall, the beautiful terrain mixed with the fact that you literally spawn inside of the village makes this seed so cool. Seed number 20 is a very simple secluded taiga seed with a nice little lakeside village that gives you the perfect secluded hideout right when you start your game. Looking around this area, you are completely surrounded by these spruce trees, and not only do they look beautiful, but also they give you full protection from all sides. And that added on top of the village, that'll give you all the early game resources you're gonna need. It's the perfect seed if you kind of just want to sit back, relax, and play a little bit of Minecraft. The second you load up seed number 19 and look forward, you'll see you spawned at Y186, halfway up this huge mountain. And then looking around that area, you'll see that is only the start. This terrain is absolutely insane. Now, this mountain that you spawned on is half Badlands and then half regular mountain, but it all goes up to the max height of 255. And then, like I mentioned, looking around that mountain, there are a ton of big ones in the area as well, but I'm not going to show them all to you. You're going to have to load up this seed and try it out for yourself. This is your spawn in seed number 18, and looking up, you'll notice a little tiny structure all the way at the top of this mountain. Well, what is it? It's a witch's hut all the way up here at Y level 200. And I think this witch probably has the best view of a swamp that any witch has ever had. Like, for real, how did this get all the way up here? Like, how is this even possible? They know what they're doing though. Oh my gosh. Number 17 is very simple. It's a lake that's in a near perfect circle and has a sunken Nether Ruins portal inside of it. Honestly, I really don't know what else to say. It's just a really cool circular lake. Honestly, I'm sure there's some cool things that you guys could build here. Seed number 16 is a little cooler than that. It's a fully secluded bamboo jungle island. This thing looks awesome. And something else cool are the 100-block tall cliffs that surround this island 360 degrees. So there's really no good way to get up or down. Oh yeah, and if I didn't mention, you spawn right here on the island. Have fun escaping this one, guys. Number 15 is this beautiful pale garden ring. I love these almost more than the cherry blossom ones. This one has a nice inner ring of some dark oak forest and then a central 75 block long lake. Now what's cool about this one is most of these mountains are pale garden, but then one little section over here is actually birch. So it kind of cuts off the ring, which I think looks pretty cool. And if you decide to build right here in the middle, these 120 block tall mountains are going to give you protection 360 degrees. Seed number 14 is very simple, so once again, I'll keep it short. This one has a nice circular ring of snowy mountains, this time with cherry blossom and then some plains in the middle. That's about it. Let me know down below what you guys are going to build here. Similar but different over here for number 13. This one is a lot more unique than the last. It kind of goes in rings. So this top ring of mountains has taiga on one side, a little bit of pale garden here, and then birch all along this side. And then the inner ring is going to be mostly spruce, but then it has some dark oak over here. And then there's also a ring of water in the middle. And once again, if you decide to build down here in the middle, these 75 block tall mountains are going to give you protection 360 degrees. Also, if you come underneath the surface, you're going to find a decently sized cave down here with a lush cave, dripstone, some exposed diamonds, and other things that you can explore. This is the loneliest villager I've ever seen. This guy is the only house, I guess he has a couple friends, but he's the only house on this floating village island. This thing is so funny. Honestly, I don't really know what else I'm supposed to say. There's a couple pieces of land nearby, but you're mostly just surrounded by a ton of water. And yeah, I guess that's it. Seed 11 has this cool floating village that's over top of the water and is just barely connected over to this mainland. And actually, technically, it's not connected to the mainland because this piece isn't. Now, this village is pretty cool. However, coming to the coordinates in the top left, you're going to find two separate floating desert temples that are completely surrounded by a ton of coral reef. And on top of that, both of these desert temples are perfectly in line with each other, block to block. And like I said, they're floating over top of the water. These two things are so cool. Seed number 10 is going to spawn you in this nice snowy area with a really large flat ice rink for you to go skating around. However, if you come underneath of the ice, you're going to see an igloo at the bottom of this lake. Now let's head inside of this igloo and see what we're going to find. Well, all the way down here inside of the igloo, it looks normal until you break through one of the walls and see that it's intercepting with a trial chamber. They're touching each other. What are the chances of this? Seed number 9 has this cool mountain range with 3 separate areas that you can build at, but it gets even cooler if you go into Java Edition, where you can find a mansion inside one of these craters. However, if you're not in Java and you're in Bedrock, it's still pretty cool. Like I mentioned, 3 separate areas that you're going to be able to build, each one unique to the last. Or what you can also do is build somewhere on this meadow mountain and have this be your view. Seed number 8 is going to spawn you right here in a taiga forest right in front of a mansion, but it gets even cooler the further you go, where you can see a village is also right at the base of this mansion and they're practically touching each other. And to be honest, I can't think of a worse place for these villagers to live. I don't know how long they're going to survive, especially considering they literally have a front path connecting to the front of the mansion. Now, on top of the 2 separate structures right at your spawn, you're also going to have a bunch of biomes like taiga, pale garden, dark oak, some old growth taiga all the way back there, and a bunch of other areas that you can explore. Once again, for seed number 7, your spawn is right in front of a mansion, but this one is way cooler than the last seed. Now, before we even take a look at the cool terrain around, first of all, of course, there's a mansion here with a shipwreck somehow sitting on top of it, fully intact still. And then down here at the bottom, there is a small little sinkhole. Now, all of that stuff is sitting in a massive 500 block long lake. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, there's a really nice mountain here that's over 150 blocks tall and has a ton of different trees climbing up the side, giving the shipwreck and the mansion the perfect view out the front. Oh yeah, also this lake here has part of the mansion extending down inside, and if you go all the way down to the bottom, it goes to Y-54. And also, if you come through this weird circular lumpy block thing over here, you're gonna find a trial chambers. This whole area is so cool. Oh yeah, and also sitting right on top of the trial chambers is a trial ruins as well. So 4 separate structures, all with some beautiful terrain nearby. Seed number 6 spawns you in one of the most insane Badlands spawns I have ever seen. Oh my gosh, take a look at this. Now, these mountains here are huge at over 160 blocks tall. And what's cool is that's not just one side, that is every single mountain that surrounds this circle area. They all go up to the max height of 255. And of course, that's not it. Looking around that area, there are so many other tall mountains that you're going to be able to explore. But I mean, come on, like, you're telling me you're going to have this area in front of you and you're not going to build inside? What is wrong with you? And coming down here, it only shows that better. Like, oh my gosh, this looks so crazy. Some of the spawns in this video have been crazy, but seed number 5 might take the cake. Not only do you spawn on top of this desert temple, but it's inside of a cave. What are the chances of this? Now, if you look up, you'll notice there's a desert biome above you that is open to the air, which explains how the desert temple got all the way down there. But I think it's funny that they had literally all of this space to build it, and they chose the one small area inside of this cave. Hey, you won't see me complaining with the free early game loot though. All of this the second that you load into the game. The spawns just keep on getting crazier. For number 4, this one spawns you inside of a cave right next to a 50 block tall pillager outpost. What is going on here? Now, as you can see, this thing spawns in a huge sky exposed cave inside of a desert. What I think looks super cool about this cave, first of all, you know, excluding the pillager outpost, is this kind of pathway over here that cuts over top of the valley below them. And as well, I really like how all of these pillars are kind of just in the middle of nowhere. This whole area looks super weird, and mixed with the pillager outpost, it makes for a very unique seed spawn location. The awesome spawns just keep on coming with seed number 3, a ton of huge mountains the second that you spawn in. And when I say a ton of huge mountains, I mean a ton of huge mountains. This bird's eye shot is absolutely insane. The more you look around at this seed, the more you're gonna find huge mountain ranges, each one unique from the last, places to build, and honestly, so many things. It would take me 10 videos just to show you this one mountain seed. Seed number 2 spawns you on top of a mansion, which is already crazy enough, but it gets crazier when you zoom out and realize it's on a survival island. So yeah, this one's gonna be pretty hard to survive. I'm not sure if you're stuck here with the mansion or if the mansion is stuck here with you. If you are able to get off of that mansion island, you can come over here to this island, which has some huge 100 block tall cliffs, which leads straight into some 100 block tall mountains. So this whole thing is 200 blocks tall, and that being so close to that mansion island just makes this whole seed so much cooler. And finally, seed number 1, everybody's favorite, is a cherry blossom ring. You actually spawn inside of this ring, which is awesome. And to make it even cooler, as you can see, there is a village sitting perfectly on the inside. Well, I would say perfectly on the inside, but one of the villagers' houses actually made it all the way up here. A couple of the villagers are up here. Oh my gosh. And they have a great view of the area in front of them. If you enjoyed those seeds, make sure to check out one of the videos on your screen right now for even more seed showcases. Leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. BlazedMC out.